This is the only lens I'm going to need in 2025, and this video is going to show you why it might be the only one that you need too. So here are the 5 things that I absolutely love about the lens, and I'll also include 1 or 2 other things that might make you think, is this for me? This is the Canon L series f2.8 24-70mm lens. It is an absolute tank of a lens, and it is my workhorse that gets me through every single day of shooting. If I only had one lens that I could take out with me, this is the one I would take. When it goes to the wide end at 24mm, I can capture nice landscapes, but it also zooms all the way into 70mm where you're really into nice portrait territory. It has an f2.8 aperture, so you get really nice creamy bokeh in the background as long as you know what you're doing. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is a lens where the hype about it is very much justified. But is the price tag? So before I go any further, I just wanted to state that this is not going to be a technical specification review of this lens. You can look at other websites. Dustin Abbott does a phenomenal review on this, a short and an in-depth one. This is going to be more how I use it, why it's such an important lens for me, and why I think you should consider getting, if not this, an equivalent one for your body. You see, when I first started photography many years ago, what I found to be a bit of a struggle was choosing what it was I wanted to do. Did I want to be a landscape photographer? Did I want to become a street photographer? There was just so much to choose from, and I felt that if I bought a lens that was either a prime fixed focused lens or by an expensive zoom lens, once I dropped all that money on it, I was tied in and I wouldn't be able to change what it was I wanted to do. Enter the 24-70 and a whole world of possibilities opens up, and you don't have to get shoehorned into being one type of photographer. So by far, the #1 best thing about this lens is its flexibility. It goes from 24 on the wide end all the way through to 70mm, and that gives you an amazing degree of flexibility. So when I first started shooting, as I mentioned, I wanted to be a landscape photographer, and I still am. But at certain points through my journey, I did think I might want to do some street photography, I might want to do some wildlife, and what I found was that by going for a prime or something with a smaller zoom range wasn't going to cut it for me. Now I saved up and I got the f2.8 version of this lens, and that cost over £2,000, and I understand that not everybody has the budget for that, but there are different models out there. There are even ones now that are going from 24 all the way to 105, and if you're willing to have a slightly slower aperture, like an f4, then you can save quite a significant amount of money. But also, what I found with those lenses is they didn't have the same weather sealing that this lens has. This, as I've mentioned before, is a tank. You can take this out in snow, ice, rain, whatever. It will stand up to what you put it through. But looking again at the focal range, shooting at 24 is normally wide enough to capture most scenes if you're a landscape photographer. Again, you can always move back if you need to get more of the scene in, or you can be a little bit more creative and take multiple shots and create a panorama should you need to get wide. I do have a lens that goes to 15mm and I can capture all of that in one image, but again, you're giving up the flexibility of having such a great zoom range. I'll show you some examples of the wider shots that I've taken with this lens, and again I'll progress through to slightly more zoomed in all the way through to 70, and I'll maybe even show you a couple of portraits that I've taken. Now, full disclosure, I am not a portrait photographer, but I was still very pleased with what this managed to achieve. I shoot with the Canon R5, and I still believe this is the best beginner camera on the market, and if you want to find out why, stay around. Well, that's all well and good, David, but I don't have a Canon body. Why is this video of any use to me? Well, friends, it's such an important focal range that every manufacturer has a lens that covers round about this range, and your camera will have one too. Another great thing about this lens is just how sharp it is right across the image. Even if you're shooting wide open, it is an incredibly sharp image. There's nothing better than spending a day out in the field, coming home, putting your files into your computer and then just marvelling at how sharp they are. And as I say, it doesn't matter on the aperture. Although there is a sharp spot somewhere between f5 and f7, you will not be disappointed, and there is very little softness if you do decide to open the aperture all the way up. And if you do open the aperture all the way up, it lets in a ton of light and it lets you continue to shoot in conditions when the sun's going down. As always guys, if you're enjoying the video or you're learning something new, then give it the thumbs up and please consider subscribing. We've only got 30 to go until we hit that magic number of 1,000, so thank you to you all. Another major benefit is the absolutely incredible autofocus system that is in this piece of glass. It is sharp, it is fast, it is sticky, and if you're taking photographs of live action, birds in flight, whatever it may be, this is going to see you okay. I have yet to find that there is an instance where I can't get this to lock on. And again, with a zoom range of 24mm all the way through to 70, taking some wildlife shots does become an option. And when you couple that with the phenomenal autofocus system, you are guaranteed to get some jaw-dropping results. Additionally, if you are zoomed all the way into 70mm, you might need a little bit of assistance making sure that you can hold the camera steady. Now this lens has up to 5 stops of image stabilization, which will help you get that sharper shot. And if your camera has in-body image stabilization, when you couple that with the stabilization of the lens, it is an absolutely rock horse. So David, it can't be all good news. What's wrong with the lens? Well, to be fair, there is very little that I would criticise it for. At a push, I would maybe say it's a slightly heavier lens, but the fact that you're compressing 24 to 70mm into one small body, I don't think it's overly cumbersome, and I don't notice it when I'm carrying it about all day, especially when that's the only lens that you might need to take out that day. But by and large, the biggest drawback of the f2.8 version of that is going to be the price tag. If you buy this new, I think it cost me £2,400. The price may have come down slightly since I got it, but it's still a hefty chunk of money. You can pick it up second hand on MPB or other sites like that, and if you get a good conditioned one, then that might be the route you go down to. But again, I did mention earlier on, there are different versions of these lenses. They go from 24 to 105, 24 to 70, but depending on the spec of the lens, you might find that it might not have quite as snappy an autofocus, it might not be as well weather sealed. You might find that the aperture isn't quite as fast as f2.8, it might be an f4 aperture, and that, in certain circumstances, is absolutely fine. I'm now starting to shoot in dusk, and that would start to struggle a little bit, but again, because I'm using a Canon R5, I can comfortably bump the ISO up. So the f2.8 version is definitely more expensive. If you look at the f.4 version, whether it's the Sony one, the Fujifilm, there will be an equivalent for your camera body. If you're willing to forego some of the weather sealing and a slightly darker aperture, well, you can get it for as little as half that cost. But what do I think? Well, as I said at the start, I still think this is the best lens and the only one that I'll need in 2025. So as I said halfway through the video, I use the Canon R5 body, and I still believe that's the best beginner camera for 2025. And if you want to know why I think that, watch this video here. It gives you a great in-depth review into it. See you in the next one, guys.